Ohayo gozaimasu, collectors. So we have another BM Creations Junior. It's a Toyota Starlet Turbo S from 1988, and I guess it's body code EP71. So let's take a look at this guy. This, I believe, is one of their more recent releases. So I think that BM Creations is going away from the crystal cases, and they're just giving you this cardboard, a blister, but no actual display case. Which, if the price is going down, that wouldn't bother me. I don't know if the prices are staying the same or what, but I don't really need a crystal case. I find that they take up too much space anyways. Okay, let's see what else is on here. Just trying to see if there's any licensing here. Yeah, alright, so it is a licensed product from Toyota. This is a right-hand drive, and there's their website. I've never bothered to look at that website of theirs. Alright, let's take a look. Crack this guy open. This, I believe, is the third generation of Starlet. And so that was produced between 1984 and 1989. And in particular, this being a 1.3 liter turbocharged engine, it would make 110 horsepower. And it also had active suspension technology that the normal Starlets didn't have. This generation of Starlet switched over to front-wheel drive, like most hatchbacks of the day, whereas the prior generation, I guess, was rear-wheel drive. Okay, so we'll save those wheels for later. I see a new part here, so maybe they're changing their designs because, you know, they're learning. Let's take a look at these photos here. So one thing I want to tell you guys, I was looking at this online, you know, looking at close-up photos, and in close-up photographs, this whole white facade here with the headlights, this is plastic and is painted white around the rim. It doesn't look very good in photos, but to the naked eye, I think it looks perfectly fine. You know, these video reviews, photographs, they tend to bring out a lot of the flaws that the regular human eye has a hard time seeing. Okay, so, I mean, look at that thing. It's looking pretty close to that image, to me, right? Okay, let's try the back view. Couldn't find really many that weren't modified. I think this is a stock Starlet. It's got the two pipes. It's even got the little sticking out toe rings. So that's a pretty impressive thing. Alright, let's take a better wide angle here and go over this model with the dental pick of scrutiny. So it's just a plain white. It's not a it's not a metallic or anything like that, but it's quite glossy. Alright, so the printing looks pretty good. Apparently this car has an intercooler and is turboed. I believe a lot of cars back in this time frame didn't actually have intercoolers, so they were only running like 5-6 psi or something. But once you get into intercoolers, you can start running 10-12 psi. Alright, these wheels, well, they're supposed to be hollow right in there, but from the front view, I guess they wouldn't be hollow. So, could it have been done better? Possibly. Well, that's the beauty, I guess, of the second wheel set, which I'm going to put on later. Alright, so we got the door handle sticking out. It's painted black, looks good. This key thing is sticking out, painted silver. I hope I can get that off. I don't know if that's paint or just some contaminant. Okay, yeah, this black paint runs around the whole car, it seems, right? Yeah, so that's alright. The mirrors do have some paint. Yeah, that's silver paint, so that's okay. It's better than nothing. The casted windows have black paint to show the molding, and also what looks like some little vents back here. Okay, the reflector here is sticking out and painted orange. So this is what I was talking about. You know, I saw photographs, and yeah, it doesn't look so great right now. I mean, other than this magnification, or just being this close to the camera, you know, because the white is, the light's getting behind it and it's showing a little bit of light through that paint. There is a red variation of this, and I was tempted to get it, but the taillights are red, so I couldn't really see the taillights very easily, so then I switched back to picking this white one. Alright, so it's nice to see that they write something on the license plate. I think that's cool. This sounds like it's plastic, that texture. This is painted. Painted. I don't know what this black would be here, though. I mean, oh no, it is on the photograph. I don't know if it's a little vent or something. It might be a little vent. Alright, so Starlet's nicely printed there. The headlights do look pretty nice. I mean, you can see all the little ribs in the front part of the headlight. But then behind it, you can see a little dot there, as if there's a light bulb. And then this whole thing's got a texture as well. I believe there are actually two lights on the real car. Yeah, that's what it looks like. So I think they did a good job representing it. But as I say, trimming this clear piece of plastic with all this white makes it look less than spectacular. But when I'm looking at it like a half an arm's length away, it looks fine to me. Alright, so on the hood, that scoop must go into the intercooler, and that is going in there. Some black dots for the wiper fluid, and they do stick up. They're sticking out. The wiper blades are part of the window molding, but they're sticking up and they're painted black. And then you got the blackout printed nicely. Okay, this side, I suppose a little black paint is missing there. The white paint's having a hard time covering up the darkness of the casting. So if that bothers you, you might want to try to get the red one. Alright, so yeah. But the problem with the red one, these things kind of vanish on a red car because they're translucent plastic. So, compromises all around, right? What the heck is this? Is that some extra plastic? I think that's just a weird reflection. Interesting. The red of this, the light shining through it, is casting a red color onto the white paint. That's what I think is happening. It's not plastic. I don't think. It's so hard to tell. I mean, the thing's so small. Weird. Weird. I can't explain that. Okay, what is going on here? Did that say Starlet? Ah, boy. Okay, so unfortunately this isn't printed well. I see L-E-T-R-A. The S is missing half of it. So that's not good. The Toyota's nice. The key thing is nice. This S here. Oh, this is like a really squashed turbo. It's just not printed very well. I can see the T. I can see an O, but there's something weird going on there. So that text isn't printed very well. The license plate's alright. The exhaust tips do look nice. I mean, they're dimensional, they're painted black in the middle. And then this is impressive, these little toe rings. Didn't expect that. Unfortunately, the black isn't covering all the white there. But a little Sharpie marker will fix that. What is this? I think that might be where it's trimmed off the molding sprue. Alright. Oh, I see. That's probably where the motor for the wiper blade goes. There's supposed to be an arm going down here. Yeah, look at the real photo. And this is sticking up. I just don't think it's painted black. No, it is. It is. Okay, so the defroster lines, they're okay. They're not blocking the view of the car because you can clearly see the front end. Alright, and then we got the third brake light right there. Alright, so that looks good. I'm not going to bother showing you the interior because I'm just going to pull this thing apart to put on the second wheel set, and I'll show you then. Okay, so these things are supposed to steer, but right now it's not. The screws are too tight. Alright, so only one screw, so there must be a tab back here. It's nice to see that there's silver on the exhaust system. And the tires don't look too bad. I mean, on the BM Subaru they look too narrow, but this car being only a 1.3 liter, I think is believable. A 1.3 liter powered car might have tires this skinny. Alright. Put But you know what? Let's just see. The aftermarket ones, are they the same? I think the tread is different on these aftermarket wheels. Interesting. Yeah, let's look at this other wheel or tire. Hard to say. What do you guys think? No, maybe that is the same. Alright. Okay, since we have this new part, you can fast forward of course, but I'm gonna do this all on camera so we can discover as we go along. That screw wasn't too tight, so let me just knock that out. Pull this out. Okay, so there's the bottom. Let's look at the interior first, because I'll forget. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Alright, clearly colorful, if not downright psychedelic. That's an interesting interior, but I like it. It's on the door. Oh, I think it's a decal. I think those are air pockets there. And then the dashboard, I think they're instruments usually. Yeah, look at that. I think that's a decal also, but that's okay on the interior because, you know, it's very improbable that you'll get your fingers on these decals because it's going to be protected by the canopy, right? So anyways, really good details from BMs on their interiors. I like them. If you're curious, here's the glass. It's 3 pieces, 4 rivets, and I believe they do that to keep the thing from cracking. If it's all one piece of plastic and like this casting goes a little off, when they jam it in, it's going to crack. And or the heat expansion of this metal might cause cracking. You know, if you were to say put it in a freezer and then you put it out in the sun, the one plastic expands at a different rate than the casting. I'm just speculating, but engineers need to figure that stuff out for us. Okay, so that looks pretty good. That's a nice interior. Very happy there. Now, let's see if there's anything different here. Yes, there is. This is my first BMs to have only 1 screw in the front. All the other ones have 4 screws. So this is saving a little bit on cost, production cost, but really is saving on me having to deal with a 4th screw. Okay, so that was tight, and now it's probably stopping the steering. There is a washer, and it's got a tab for directionality. You notice the steering link is in the front. Okay, so that was another tab. Interesting. So I still am a bit of a loss as to why this piece is here. Oh, I see. So this piece here can be replaced. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to assume by putting this piece in, it's lowering the ride height. And that index, make sure you get the index there. Alright, the new one here. So the steering link should be on the top. We gotta get those kingpins in there. Kingpin, that was a great movie, by the way. It's interesting that they never made a second Kingpin movie. Okay, so now where's that little washer thing? Oh boy, so you can see how fidgety this is. This whole Kingpin thing here. I'm not sure if this is better or worse than the original way of doing it. So I have to hold that in place, I guess. Now I have to take this, make the index fit on there. I don't know if it's supposed to go one way or the other though, you see. I'm gonna guess it's supposed to go this way. Okay. I still don't understand why you need this washer though. because if the nut itself has a big flange on it, I don't know why they do this. In fact, I'm gonna leave it off. I don't think it's necessary right now because this piece of plastic is flush. So let me get the screwdriver. Right, so I mean, if this thing has such a big flange, why do you even need a washer? Okay, let's go to the back. Now this is still the standard pieces like I'm used to on the other BMs. So I'm going to remove this washer. Is that a washer? No, it is not a washer. Okay, so there is no bottom washer there. But let me think this through. If I put this washer on the bottom, I think that still lowers the ride height because it's lifting the wheels higher into the bodywork. Yeah, so I'm going to put the washer on the bottom. This has a letter X. I think the other ones had like letters and numbers. But that's probably not the right one. I think this has to go first. That's also an X. So they have two pieces with the same letter on them, which is kind of weird to me. The reason why I think this goes on first is there's this little ledge sticking up. And I feel that this piece, no, that's the white one. This piece doesn't have that little ledge. So that goes on top. It's supposed to rest in that little ledge of the bottom piece. Hopefully that makes sense. You might be able to see it right there. Okay, so again, I don't know. I don't think the washer is necessary because now the posts are actually recessed in that plastic. So now this is going to be a challenge again, trying to screw this thing together on camera or through a camera. Amazingly, I got that right in there. Okay, so you can clearly see the camber. Look how cambered in those wheels are, whereas the stock wheels were more vertical. So this is that slammed, cambered JDM look, which is actually probably really impractical for the traction of a vehicle. Having this much camber, you know, only unless you're turning at a super high rate of speed, you don't need this much camber. Okay. Let's put this back together. So yeah, there's the tab right there. Oh, it's the license plate. That's pretty smart. It's kind of like a Hot Wheels, right? And there we go. Clearly sunken in wheels. So let me find that one screw. You have a lot of patience if you've actually listened to all this gibberish as I did all this. But we have it now. Let's see. Oh, look how cambered the front tires are even. Very, very cambered in. Front and back. Steering, let's see. Yeah, it still steers. Right? So that's cool. These wheels, they don't really want to spin because the tire is rubbing the inside of the fender. I'm sure they might have spun outside of the body, but when they're actually inside this vehicle, yeah, there's no rolling going on here. In fact, the original one, yeah, I mean, they do roll. They're not going to roll like a Hot Wheels, though. There's still too much friction. But you could probably roll with just the stock ride height and these stock wheels. Alright, so let's bust out the little spinning machine. And just gonna pretend we're parking. And I have one other Starlet here. It's the Konami, and this one is called the Starlet 1300S KP61. So I believe this might be the generation before this P70. Yeah, so clearly a different generation. And then definitely a growth in size with the newer white version. It seems to have a larger footprint. All right. I don't know why some days these things spin fast, some days they don't. Okay, well, this time around I'm still happy again with BM Creations. It's interesting that they're willing to experiment with different ways to put these things in there. Either way, I guess it's okay. I don't really see the benefit with going with this method of changing the front wheels out versus the old one. They are both pretty fidgety processes. Yeah, the difference with this one is instead of saving a screw, they had to now, invest in an extra piece of plastic, this thing. So I don't know what costs less, an extra screw or this thing. Well, anyways, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just search my channel. I have a bunch of other BM Creations reviews. And so speaking of which, I hope to see you in the next one, and we'll see you then.